And we're talking about the Indian Premier League, and I had promised in the previous video to speak about the 4 teams I had predicted at the halfway mark and what are their chances and what they need to do to make it to the playoffs. Now, before we get into that, a couple of things to sort of keep in mind at this point is that it's not just how many matches are left for each of these teams to play, but also the net run rate and which is the team that they're playing at what stage from this point when all the calculations have started till the end of the league phase. For example, a team like Bangalore, whom we know are in a bit of a bothersome situation at this point, have their last game against a very formidable Gujarat. A team like Mumbai Indians has a high pressure game today to kickstart the last phase in some sense against the Titans. So it's good to sort of get the high volatile and the high intensity sort of a clash out of the way so you know exactly what you need to do as it gets closer to the last or the end of the league phase. So the 4 teams I had predicted were Gujarat, Chennai, Rajasthan and Bangalore. Now the one team that looks obviously most comfortable is Gujarat with 16 points. They do have 3 matches at hand, so for them in their head it's not just about playoffs but it's about finishing strong and at the top 2 positions, because we know how important that is when it comes to the qualifiers. Second team, Chennai. Now this is where all the tricky situations begin. 15 points for Chennai looks good, doesn't it? But they know they aren't really out of the woods. They'll be thankful for that 1 point, yes, but they only have 2 games at hand and their age-old rival is breathing down their necks, who suddenly sort of come out of their slumber and they have hit the right sort of momentum, especially in this crucial phase. A team like the Mumbai Indians is definitely not just fighting for a spot in the playoffs, but also a top 2 position. The third team I'd spoken about is Rajasthan. They started really strongly, somehow lost their way, losing 5 games. But with not just the win last night, but the manner in which they won the game against Kolkata really has put them back into reckoning for a playoff spot. They are at a disadvantage though because they only have 2 matches with 12 points, so both become highly critical for them to close out and win. There could be a situation where they are also giving CSK a fight that spot, number 2 spot. So this becomes a bit of a healthy sort of a 3-way battle in some sense. But here's the catch there. The next game for Royal is against Bangalore, which is the 4th team that I had predicted. Now Bangalore is looking at the most sort of difficult situation at this point of the 4 that I had predicted, with 10 points only, not a very good net run rate, and 3 really tough games coming their way. Which is why a team like Lucknow, with that 1 additional point at 11 and a good net run rate, with 3 games as well, are also having a fighting chance to make it to the playoff. So what I see could happen for a few spots is that you could be in a situation where you'll have a few teams with 14 points and then a net run rate aspect could come into play. That could happen as well. But yes, as they say, and I'm going to leave with that disclaimer, T20 is the most unpredictable format and IPL even more so. We've seen in the past how one playoff position has been determined at the very end of the league stage. So yes, that could happen and how delicious that would be. And with the impact player rule also being introduced this year, it just makes this whole equation so much more exciting because that makes players and teams take that many more risks. And as they say, more the risks, more the reward.